We start with the end of the road for Jose Mourinho at Tottenham. Paul Gilmore is at Tottenham's training ground, but we're going to start with Gary Cottrell, who's just got the first television interview with the man himself. Right, Gary, so you spoke to him. Well done. It was the interview that they all wanted. What was his demeanour like?
I've been lucky enough to know Jose Mourinho quite well now for a few years, and despite everything that you think you might read and you think you might see and you think you might hear, he's a very, very loyal, very, very kind man to the people who he has a relationship with. I've been lucky enough to do a documentary with him, been lucky enough to have lunch with him on a couple of occasions. I was there on his first day at Spurs, and he is very loyal, will look after people he sees to be his friends or the people that he trusts. So I'm in the lucky position, perhaps, that he was very upset today, of course, losing that job, particularly before a big cup final. But he's contractually, of course, not allowed to comment on the circumstances surrounding his departure from Spurs. He spent the day clearing his office, saying goodbye to the players, then came to his home in West London. He could have gone round the back. A lot of managers would have gone round the back. There is a back entrance to his home, but he decided to come round to the front and take a few questions. And this is what happened. Jose, sorry to pounce on you with the others. Is there anything to say at all?
Nice picture, eh? No, Gary. Thanks so much.
When you look at the results from the first day you started at Spurs, you're fourth in the league. You're in a cup final. You've got obviously problems with the defence that aren't of your making. Do you feel it's an unfair treatment of you?
Not going to speak. You know me. You know me. You know that I'm not going to say anything.
But we see you again soon, right? Bit of a holiday, bit of a break, recharge the battery, get some sunshine.
No need breaks and batteries.
Back as soon as possible.
Huh?
Back in football as soon as possible.
I'm always in football.
Jose, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
So not saying a lot, but confirming that he doesn't need a break, he doesn't need any sun, he doesn't need to recharge his batteries, he's going to be back in football as soon as possible. And that reference there to Spurs being fourth, of course they're seventh at the moment, but if you take every single point that Spurs have gathered since Jose Mourinho started, compared to other clubs in the Premier League, Manchester City would be top, Liverpool would be second, Manchester United would be third, and Spurs would be fourth in the Premier League. So he's not done that badly, has he? And got Spurs to a cup final. And of course, he's become quite famous for his Instagram account. So he had a little bit of fun when he went back to the car to carry on getting some of those pictures and some of those belongings out of his car. Here's what happened next.
And I'm going to complain about lack of privacy. I start by you, Gary. They don't give me privacy. Even my friend Gary is disturbing me. That's my life.
Yes, so there's nobody.
I'm going to post.
There's nobody in world football
I'm going to post.
better equipped to win a one-off cup final than you.
You are going to read my Instagram. 1.9 million.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, please.
Must hurt just before the cup final, though, guys. Fine, you know. You got them to a cup final, Jose. You surely have the right to help them win it. I'm trying, right? Okay. The other gentleman you saw occasionally there was Nuno Santos, the goalkeeping coach. Both men are now back in their homes. Pretty chaotic it was outside Jose Mourinho's home about an hour ago. There were other cameras and photographers there, as you could see. Not too much social distancing apart, but don't worry, because we've both been in our own individual bubbles. We've both been tested. That's me and Jose Mourinho. We're both negative, and I'm old enough to have had the first vaccine.
And you've just been described by Jose Mourinho as my friend Gary. So thank you, Gary, and well done for getting that first interview. Right, OK, how did this all come about, though? Paul Gilmore is at the Tottenham training ground. Paul, just tell us how Mourinho found out that his time at the club was over.
Well, Tom, it's been a long day for Jose Mourinho. He was called to a meeting with Chairman Daniel Levy here at the club's training ground this morning. In that meeting, he was told that he would no longer be the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and the reason given, we're told, is that it's purely results-based and nothing to do with the Super League announcement last night. There was a real concern about performances and results, not to mention perhaps his relationship with some of the prized assets. You could include Dele Alli in that. There were good moments, of course, as well. The 6-1 victory at Old Trafford, 5 against Southampton. There were good moments in this tenure, but ultimately results and performances really worrying Daniel Levy enough for him to take this decision over the weekend after that Everton result on Friday night. Daniel Levy did release a statement via the club's social channels this morning. He said Jose is a true professional who showed enormous resilience during the pandemic. On a personal level, I have enjoyed working with him and regret that things have not worked out as we both had envisaged. He will always be welcome here, and we should like to thank him and his coaching staff for their contribution. So indeed, all of the coaching staff have gone, apart from Ledley King. We think he remains with the club. Reports suggesting a payoff is in the region of £15 million, but that is yet unconfirmed. And it is worth remembering that Maurizio Pochettino continued to be paid a salary after his Spurs departure, but again, no indication that that is what's happened here.
Well, the players have often got a few things to say when their manager goes. Paul, how's this been received by the Tottenham players?
Yeah, fairly mixed, as you would imagine. In all football clubs, there are players who don't get on with the manager. There are players not happy that they're playing. There are players who enjoy working for the manager. There are players who just get on with things. And I think Tottenham has been no different. We know Jose Mourinho left the training ground again around 3:30 this afternoon. And yeah, let's start with those players. The likes of Dele Alli, Harry Winks, Danny Rose, players that have been frozen out. Gareth Bale didn't always see eye to eye in terms of what was happening with performances and getting game time. Dele Alli twice came close to a move to PSG, certainly wanted to go to PSG based on the fact that he wasn't enjoying life here at Tottenham at that time. Then you look at the other side of that and look at the players who have come out in support of Jose Mourinho this evening via social media. Harry Kane says, "Thank you for everything, boss. A pleasure to have worked together. I wish you all the best for your next chapter." And Kane and Mourinho were quite a formidable combination, weren't they? Mourinho in the documentary said he vowed to get the best out of Harry Kane. Well, 62 goal involvements in 62 games since Mourinho took over, so that's 45 goals and 17 assists. That will say that Kane continued to flourish under Mourinho. And the other one, interestingly, Heung-Min Son, who says, "I have no words to describe how I'm feeling." He put on his Instagram, he says, "It's been a pleasure to work with you. I'm sorry things didn't work out, and truly grateful for the time we've had together. All the best for the future." So what's quite significant about that is that two players who could walk into most clubs in world football coming out in support of Jose Mourinho, those two elite athletes with their manager who has, of course, an elite winning mentality, they have come out in support of him. The timing is the big question around this. Tottenham, of course, have the game against Southampton in the league, but all eyes on the cup final on Sunday. They're chasing their first trophy since 2008. Well, Jose Mourinho's record in cup finals is pretty impressive. 12 wins from his 14 cup finals. He has never lost a cup final in normal time. So clearly there will be questions to be asked about the timing, but ultimately that is the decision that Daniel Levy has taken.
Paul, do we even know who's going to be in charge for not just the cup final, but the Southampton game on Wednesday?
At this point, we still don't know. Ryan Mason has been taking training today. In fact, in the last couple of minutes, I've just been told that Ryan Mason will take training again tomorrow here at the training centre. The last I heard, they were working on a caretaker option. But I was also told that don't rule out anything, because in football things can change very quickly. That might suggest that the person they are after is with a club already, and that's been the key difference perhaps to when Maurizio Pochettino left. Jose Mourinho, that deal was done and Mourinho was announced pretty quickly, but he was obviously without a club at that time. But yeah, the last I heard, they were working towards a caretaker option. Whether that will be a team consisting of the likes of Ryan Mason, Ledley King or Chris Paul, who's also at the club, or whether they go down a different avenue, that's all being worked on. We're waiting to see who will even take the pre-match press conference tomorrow with that game against Southampton to come. It is, as I mentioned earlier, worth remembering that when Pochettino left, it was all done pretty quickly. Obviously that hasn't happened today, but it may be for those reasons. But what is clear is that Jose Mourinho has left another Premier League club. His 17-month stint at Tottenham has come to an end.